Welcome to the AxeCast. This is the Sunday, July 16th, 2023 edition of the AxeCast. My name is Caleb Cohn. I'm here with my co-hosts Eric Parmenter and Luke Enemark. All right, guys, for the Grizzlies, the Summer League season ended yesterday. It was on Saturday, July 15th, in a loss to the Suns. Overall, kind of an up and down Summer League for the Grizzlies. Definitely some highlights that we can kind of run with and get us looking forward to next season. Just go ahead and start kicking to you guys because just full transparency, did not watch any summer league games. It was kind of just like highlights and YouTube videos for me. Was never able to really make some time to watch the game, so I'm just gonna kick it to you guys. You guys just give y'all's opinions.
Yeah, I think I watched like basically all of them. I think I missed one or like one and a half. So it was a pretty interesting summer league. I think there were definitely a lot of positives, some surprises. The team was like there were moments where we looked very good, and then there were moments where like we looked lost and like couldn't score to save our lives. A lot of that had to do with like some of the games we rested some of our main guys, and we were just throwing GG Jackson into the fire, and then we were having like Frankie Ferrari and like all these other randos kind of go out there and play. So that was weird. But in the games where we had all of our guys, I mean, obviously Kenneth Lofton Jr. was just an absolute beast, and like I just don't know how he's gonna not fit into our rotation somehow, or at least try to. He's just clearly the best player on the court every time he steps on the court. And like, I don't know, people talk about his like defensive limitations, and it's like they're much better. Some of the best players in the NBA like have severe defensive limitations, and it's just like I don't know, like he's just such a force on offense, and like he showed some flashes of like blocking shots, so that was cool. Um, Outside of him, when it comes to Laravia, he had his moments. He's still just not shooting at a great rate. He didn't play as well as I thought. He had some moments where he showed some flashes of like off the ball, or not off the ball, on the ball, like creating his own shots, like with his dribble packages, or like he had some cool moments where he was creating. But overall, I don't think that he played up to the standard that everyone was hyping him up to be. I still think he's got to find his confidence and find his rhythm, and um, I don't know how that's going to look. But to me, Luke, you can expand on this. But to me, the biggest surprise was Vince Williams Jr. I mean, the Grizzlies were 4-0 in the summer league when he played for us, and like just an absolute force defensively. Like I know that was kind of his calling card at VCU. Like he could score like 3-and-D kind of guy, but he was just so active defensively, like getting steals or pokes or a random block here or there. And then he's hitting threes at like 40% clip, basically. Some games a little higher, some games a little lower, but he was like the most consistent Grizzlies player other than Lofton in his time in summer league. And so that was really cool to see. And like, I feel like he might have played himself into the Grizzlies mix of guys. I know we have a excess amount of players on our roster right now, and who knows what those roster decisions will look like and who will actually be on the roster opening day. But I was super impressed with Vince Williams. I mean, he on both sides of the ball. I mean, it wasn't like he was shooting the lights out but not holding his own defensively. He was a bright spot on both ends. And so those are my initial thoughts on summer league. Everyone else, kind of GG Jackson, again, just really raw. Again, he had some really cool flashes. You could see it, his shot creation ability, but his his shot selection is just pretty bad, and he needs to learn to pass more often. But it was cool to just kind of throw him out there, 18-year-old, and just see what can be, because he showed some moments. But other than that, that's kind of what I saw in summer league.
Yeah, I thought you did a good job breaking it down, Eric. Um, I saw every game except for the last two, but I have excuse because the first one, like, it was at 2:30 and I was working, and the second one my power was out, so I couldn't watch it. But I think also first we're obligated to say like we're not overreacting to summer league. It's just summer league.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is also a good opportunity for these young guys, and it's exciting to watch them because they normally don't get playing time in the games that we get to watch. So it was really cool. I agree with you. I was impressed with Vince Williams, and I think he really fits the bill for the type of player that we need and could be very successful in our offense. And if he can hold it on defense, like you're saying, then really all the better. I'm going to look to Jenkins to give all 4 of the rookies from last year a chance at serious regular season minutes. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I think they all had honestly, the one that I was least impressed with was Roddy. And I just felt like he wasn't even like taking it seriously.
Yep.
Because I know Roddy could have dominated that summer league. But like you said, Laravia had good flashes. And I'll bring up this because remember last year everyone was saying about Aldama. And in summer league, I didn't think he lived up to the hype. But then comes regular season and he's filling in for injuries, and he was great. So the jury's not out on Laravia yet. I think he could get a lot of playing time next season, especially with Jenkins as coach. Lofton always looks amazing on offense and didn't look like that big a liability to me on the other end.
He's going to play this year, right? Like he has.
I think he should.
He played that. Like his only like flaw is like fouling too much and like being a little bit of a liability on defense. But like he's just so fun to watch. I don't know how he can't play with how well he's playing.
Yeah, you don't get 10 fouls in the regular season, so that might be a little bit of a problem. But I still would love to see Lofton get some playing time. And one guy I want to mention, just because I feel like he's getting a little bit lost, is Zaire, because he, for whatever reason, didn't play in the summer league. But I still think he's got so much talent, and he got a little bit neglected last season. And I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but that was one of the few Jenkins decisions I have disagreed with, because his rookie season, especially at the beginning, he really did not look like he belonged in the NBA, but Jenkins is still giving him a chance, letting him develop until he's actually playing in the postseason in the second round. And then I felt like he goes down with the injury at the beginning of his second year and then comes back and he gets a little chance, but then it felt like Jenkins just gave up on him really fast. And like Kleiman said when we drafted him, he's going to be a project. So I would be really disappointed if the same thing happens again this year. I think he deserves more of a chance than that, and I think he could really develop into such a great player. Because he's the 10th overall pick last year. He's like the highest draft pick we've had since Ja. So it'd be a waste.
I feel like he also just played himself off the court. Like I feel like I don't think he got shortchanged. Like you could maybe argue that Jenkins should have rode with him a little more, but he was just playing very bad. And you could tell that he had no confidence. He was in his head and just wasn't ready for NBA basketball. Now, who knows what's been going on behind the scenes, like you said. Like most people thought he should have been playing Summer League this summer for us, and he wasn't. Some people thought that must have meant he's on the trading block or he's still injured and they're just not disclosing anything. I think they said like he's just choosing to train with a specified dude out in California this summer instead of playing Summer League, which you can question that. But it's just been very odd.
At the games?
What?
He was like in attendance, sitting courtside.
Yeah, which I don't know. I saw a video yesterday of him training, like doing some work. But the whole thing's just weird with Zaire. Maybe we'll just be shocked and he'll come out and just be a main contributor for us, or maybe he's still lost in the shuffle of rotation guys, and maybe, I don't know, there's still a lot of roster decision moves we have to make before the season. I think we have until training camp to shore up our 15-man roster, but as of now, Zaire is probably the biggest question mark on this roster, in my opinion.
I think I agree with that, and I just think my argument is like he was given such a huge leash his rookie season, and then it just I know he was bad. I agree with you. He wasn't good when he came back, but it just felt very premature to like relegate him. So
Zaire was playing like closing minutes in his rookie season. Like I remember like that game winner against the Sixers, corner three that he missed.
he
Like he was
missed. Yeah.
playing. I mean,
He
he
had like
missed
a
it, but
great
like he
game
was
against
playing.
the Knicks.
Yep,
What?
he was playing closing minutes his rookie season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just a shame what happened with that, but I for the new rookies, Gigi and Biberovic, there's lots of like. Every time they get it, it's like I don't know. I only see the good, and I ignore like shot selection from Jackson. It seemed like there was a lot of heaves, but
Now, I
yeah.
have been well documented as a hater of European players, whether it's like being as prospects or established NBA players. I will say, Biberovic has intrigued me. I knew nothing about him. No one knew anything about him. He was supposed to be just a stash, whatever, stash away in Europe. But I love the way he plays. Like
Just
he
'cause
just he has that Bogdanovich trait in him where he's just always moving. He's always like off ball trying to get open. And then he has a quick release three that goes in like at a decent clip. And like he already showed like a good amount of confidence. Like yesterday was the most I was impressed with him in his last game. The times where he was aggressive and like, I mean, to start the game, he hit like 2 straight threes, and one of them was like fading out of bounds. And then he hit like after hitting the first 2, he did like a heat check 3 that looked good, just came up a little short. But I don't know. I was intrigued with him. He just has like the Bogdanovich mannerisms that everyone's come to know. So he was intriguing.
I agree. All those European players I love. They just make them right for some. But I forget what I was. That might have been everything I had to say. I don't remember any.
Real quick before Caleb goes, I will say I'll piggyback off what you were saying about Roddy. That was another takeaway. I was disappointed in his play. I think he had some moments, but again, like it feels like he is still stuck in neutral when it comes to his ball handling. He just had so many turnovers where he tried to do his patented bully ball drive in the lane and it just gets snatched away, or he tries to dribble to create his own shot and he'll dribble it off his foot or something. And that was definitely tough to see. He hit some threes, not at a great rate. So it just wasn't a great showing. You'd think he'd come out there and dominate kind of like Bane did and just kind of establish that, yeah, I've taken that leap and I'm there. But I guess the summer is still young. There's still a lot of time between now and the start of the season. So hopefully he'll be able to get in the lab and work on his game. But that was definitely something that caught my eye.
Yeah. And real quick also, sorry, Caleb. I wanted to say I thought Freddie Ferrari was very actually impressive. He was very quick, made a lot of good decisions.
Got the jersey swap from RJ.
Yeah, so
he's not a good shooter, but he's like a great facilitator and great speed too.
I saw him pull it from far, and it didn't go in, but it looked close. Yeah. I'm keeping my eye on Ferrari from now on. He intrigued me.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, wasn't able to watch a ton of the summer league. I watched a little bit of that Jazz game, so I guess I kind of take it back. I did watch like most of that Jazz game. But yeah, and that was the game that Gigi Jackson like kind of popped off for a little bit. So I guess my opinions of him might be a little bit swayed. Because the whole time I was watching, I was like, should have listened to Eric and Luke. He's got to pop it off. The potential is definitely there. But yeah, same thing. Like Kenny Lofton. Like, I mean, Zach Kleiman was trying to tell us, right? Like, Zach Kleiman wasn't even prompted about Kenny Lofton, and he just in his exit interviews, and he was like, "Yeah, we're really excited about Kenny Lofton," and I mean, he kind of showed us why in the summer league. Yeah, I agree with all you guys. I think David Roddy kind of got the Desmond Bain / Zaire treatment that we were kind of talking about before, where it's kind of like, hopefully you can kind of be a little bit more of a playmaker. I don't think he got that treatment to the extent that Bain and Zaire got. I think they kind of like held back a little bit of like just initiating him as a playmaker, but yeah, just like not really as productive as you would hope. Um, and then there's one more thing that I was gonna say, Laravia. Um, yeah, like again, you could kind of see that like you just needs to be a little bit more consistent, right? Like some of the shots that you feel like at this point in his career, like yeah, I mean he's it's only his second year, but like you'd feel like there'd be a little bit you'd just want to see a little bit more of an improvement, and at least from the little bit that I saw, I was just kind of like, I mean, if you really like, this was like a big summer for Jake. Like he could definitely take, like with Dylan gone, there's kind of going to be like a little bit more minutes to go around at that small forward position, that like wing forward position. And I mean, if he like played super well, I feel like he could have maybe played his way into that role. And I just, I don't know, from the limited amount of time that I saw him, I didn't really think he, stood up in that way. Um, but a cool summer league, regardless. Was kind of hoping that we can make it a little bit farther, and go back to what was it like 3 years ago, 4 years ago when we won the whole thing. But um, a fun summer league, regardless. Do y'all have anything else about summer league play before other stuff?
I had two other quick things. One, the one takeaway I had when we played the Cavs was why in the heck did we have to get rid of Sam Merrill?
Yeah.
Because he torched us to death. He made like 9 threes or something on
He
us.
broke the record for Summer
Yeah.
League.
That was hard to watch because I remember him being on the hustle and he was actually playing good. I think he had a couple appearances with the Grizzlies, but I think that was back when we had Grayson Allen and we just and Melton, we had excess dudes there. But man, was he fun to watch in that game. And the only other thing I had from Summer League, this is a hot take. Keontae George is going to win Rookie of the Year. Sunday, July 16th, 7:15 p.m. Eastern. I said it. He has been unbelievable. Now I'm counting on Wemby to probably get hurt, and I'm probably going to need Scoot to like play good but not great. But Keontae George, he's going to win Summer League MVP. And every time he's played, he's looked phenomenal.
So yeah, I love the take. Like I love the boldness of it. The thing is, Keontae George is what, a late first, second round, early second round pick, and he's just there's so many other people that will kind of just be in line, just like even narrative wise, like one of the Thompson twins would like even if they played like slightly worse, I feel like just for the narrative they would give it to one of him, give it to him, or like I don't know, like just name pretty much any top 10 pick, even if they play like slightly worse. I feel like for the narrative, they'll just give it to a higher draft pick as opposed to Keontae George. But yeah, regardless, played out of his mind in Summer League, or has.
Yeah, I think I'm just counting on the fit in Utah. I really like that team, and I think like they won 37 games last year, and they were fun for a lot of the season, and they definitely got better this offseason and have a bunch of young guys that are good. And I feel like if he somehow slides into a role where he's like either a six man or even like finds the starting role somehow eventually, like I think he could play really well. But I may be dead wrong, but I just thought I'd throw it out there.
He just needs opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that I agree with that, though. That's too bold for me.
It's a bold take, but I like it. This is where bold takes are born. Actually, Luke, what are you doing? You got to cash in your bold take.
I'm cashing in my take that Brandon Miller is going to be better than Wembanyama. It's already been proven.
When they went head to head, Brandon Miller had outplayed him, and we were flaming you. But the one time that they went head to head, Brandon Miller won. So
yeah. That's all the data we have. So that's I'll take advantage of this.
Yeah. All right. Well, the next thing that we could hop into real quick, Bane, contract extension, 5 years, 207 mil. Um, has the potential to make more than Ja, if I'm not mistaken.
I think isn't it like guaranteed?
He is
Yeah,
making more Ja, I think.
yeah. So kind of wild. I think we said, um, as we were recapping the season, we were like, give Bane whatever he wants within reason, and this is about that threshold, because he's getting paid, like we said, getting paid more than job. But I mean, the man deserves it. Man was basically playing. I mean, to say that a guy is making a $1 million playing basketball a year, to say that's playing for free is probably hyperbolic, but I mean, the way contracts are in the NBA, man was basically playing basketball for free for the Grizzlies. So Desmond Bane, well deserved 207 million 5 year contract. So great to see Bane will be in the 901, lacing it up for another 5 years. Y'all want to touch on that real quick? Eric, I know this is your guy, so
Yeah. I actually bought my first Desmond Bane jersey today.
sick.
I ordered it. I'm excited. But yeah, Desmond Bane had the best contract in the NBA last year. I don't think I would love to see a contract that is worth more than better than that. Because $2 million for Desmond Bane, how great he was, and he was playing on a broken toe half the year basically. So yeah, I'm really excited. I think it's definitely worth it. He's part of our cornerstone guys, and he's just only gotten better each and every year. And I was just watching some of his highlights like last week, and it's just really crazy how much stuff he's been able to improve on, off the dribble and his mid-range game, his dribble packages. He's going to be so good for so long, and I'm just glad he's on the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I agree. It's such a great development story that the Grizz have drafted 30th overall and is now signing a max contract, and he's taken such huge leaps in his game. He was already a great shooter, but just now he's such a complete player and someone we really, really need. I think you could make an argument that he's the most important player for our success, but you can make an argument. I'm not saying he is. So I'm really happy to have him here, and we need the shooting. We need him very, very badly. And to let such a homegrown star like that leave would be a disaster. So I'm ecstatic to have him back.
Yeah, 100%. Bane got paid. The next thing on the agenda since we've last talked is Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose, the former MVP, is coming back to Memphis. Played his collegiate basketball for the University of Memphis Tigers in the John Calipari era. But really signed a vet minimum, right? Vet minimum with the Grizzlies. I think it's kind of clear and obvious that this is a John Morant mentor role. But what were y'all's takeaways from the Derrick Rose signing? Like it, not like it, love it? What do y'all think?
I really like it. It was interesting that it was the first move we made this offseason. So it's kind of whoa, this is interesting, kind of out of nowhere, but it makes sense. I was listening to I don't know what it was. It was a barbershop podcast that Derrick Rose appeared on a couple months, 7 months ago or something. And just listening to him talk, you can tell he's going to be awesome in the locker room. Even Marcus Smart, who I think is going to be awesome for the team in general. Derrick Rose has been through so much and has so much knowledge and stature in the NBA that I feel it's perfect. Even if he contributes nothing on the court, which my assumption is he's actually going to play some this year. I assume we'll see him at least at the beginning of the season. I don't know for how long or if that'll stay, but I really liked it. Again, kind of in unison, adding him and Marcus Smart, that just immediately fixes any sort of veteran leadership problem you can have in a locker room. And I still love Steve-O in the locker room as well. So those guys together, I think it's going to be great. And just the whole Memphis story, Derrick Rose means so much to the city, and it's just another reason for more people to get excited about the team and support the squad next year. So I really liked it.
Yeah, I'm happy about it too. I'm not a Tigers fan, so I don't have like the sentimental like respect for it, but I think we did need veterans, and we definitely are going to need a point guard to start the next season. So definitely fits, and he does have a lot of experience, so certainly can't hurt for how much we're paying him. And yeah, I was happy with it.
Yeah. I mean, I like it just as like a Tigers fan as well. I wasn't really a Tigers fan in '08 when they went to the national championship with Derrick Rose, but I mean, even just like talking to friends and family this summer who are Tigers and Grizzlies fans, they're just like, man, that '08 year, if it wasn't for Mario Chalmers hitting that shot, Tigers would have won that national championship, and Derrick Rose would. I mean, he's already a legend, but imagine if he brought a national championship to the Tigers, like so. Um, and he's former MVP. Ja like had that tweet right about like some like Photoshop edit of like him and Derrick Rose like stand next to each other on the court, and he was just like kind of reminiscing about like how cool Derrick Rose was back in the day and how grateful he is to have him on the team. So, like I said, I thought it was kind of clear that it was a Ja Morant mentorship role, and hey, if Derrick Rose plays 0 minutes for the Grizzlies, he's not getting paid that much. So probably the role that he's going to play in the locker room, it's probably well earned money as far as I'm concerned, especially given how sideways things went last year. So I say money well spent, even if he doesn't play a minute with the Grizzlies. But
Sure.
that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion on it. What other things did y'all want to get to? Is there anything else that we're missing?
I mean, the only other thing is kind of just like how our roster sits. I mean, we also added Josh Christopher. Again, like, I don't know. We just have so many guys. Like, now that Vince Williams has kind of emerged, we have him, we have LaRavia, we have Josh Christopher now, we have Conchar still. Like, we have so many guys that are just kind of sitting there that it's going to be interesting how it plays out. And we still have that. We technically have Isaiah Todd from that weird trade we made with the Suns.
Yeah, we have 17 guaranteed contracts.
Yeah.
So somebody's got to go, right?
So yeah,
At least
spots.
2 people got to go.
Yeah.
Something's got to happen. I originally thought it would be Zaire, but like the fact that he showed up to Summer League and was hanging out with the guys, maybe we're not looking to trade him like I thought we might have. So I have no idea what's going to happen. Maybe we just waive Conchar or something. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Conchar is the odd man out, in my opinion. Like, he's one of the guys that I would be fine with leaving. Like, I'd rather take a chance on Vince Williams, the way he's looked, and even LaRavia, and for sure keeping Roddy. So, like, I don't know. Isaiah Todd's probably just a throwaway too. But I mean, Josh Christopher, I mean, he didn't get much of a chance in Houston, but I couldn't find the tweet, but there was some tweet saying that like the nights where he got like 20 minutes or more of play time, like his stats are pretty good. I mean, I take that for what it's worth. Take it with a grain of salt, but we'll see. I at least like some of the things I've seen from Josh Christopher on his film. Just another bucket getter, athletic. So I don't know. It's going to be very curious, like interesting to see what we do with our roster and who's the odd man out.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be those two, Christopher and Todd, are going to be. I don't see us getting rid of anybody who's already on our roster for those two guys, but I don't know how we would get rid of anyone yet. I guess it's easy to say we'll just trade them, but who knows?
Probably just trade him for picks, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's like a option, but I'd love that if we could do it.
The only way I'd keep Conchar is if I was sent video footage of him every day of this summer putting up minimum 2 million threes. And shooting at least 45%. Like, that's the only way I'm keeping him. Like, he does a lot of the cool, like, rebounding things that, like, guards shouldn't be doing in the hustle plays, but his job is to sit and make threes, and he just did not do that at all and, like, missed terribly, and it was brutal. So, like, unless that he could prove to me that he's been just in the lab putting up shots and, like, consistent, then I'd rather take Christopher with how young he is and some of the flashes he's shown than waste another year with Conchar, even though he's funny. But
Signed.
what?
We have Conchar signed for so long.
Yeah, we did give him a contract.
We did, but
That's like just a waste.
I feel like that was one of the rare gambles that didn't work out for the Grizzlies front office. You know, we kind of took a chance on, you know, we saw the flashes that Conchar showed early on with the Grizzlies, and we thought, hey, we projected out that if he can make shots, that he'll be impactful for us. And he has just not shown that at all. And that's the only thing we need him to do, really, for the bench unit on top of his hustle plays. So maybe they probably won't give up on him, but personally, I'd be fine with giving up on him to bring in a guy like Josh Christopher, who I think has some upside. Maybe nothing crazy, but at least he can knock down an open shot when the other team is just leaving someone wide open on purpose, like the Dylan Brooks effect, and then he can't knock it down. I know Josh Christopher will knock it down at least 39, 42% of the time.
I would like to see Conchar get deferred to the bench so a younger guy could get playing time, but I really don't think we're gonna just get rid of him unless we could find someone to trade him to. But who wants, nobody knows who Conchar is. So who would go out and try to trade for him?
That's the problem.
Yeah. I just think it's too much of a financial burden to just cut him and still pay him money for 5 years. So, I don't know.
Who knows? I mean, Josh Christopher is too big of a name to just waive too. Like, Josh Christopher is definitely more well known in the league than Conchar, in my opinion. Like, he was a highly touted prospect, and his highlights, like some of the moments where he got in the game, was pretty electric. And I don't know. I just feel like I feel like there's more value to Christopher than Conchar, like at least like outside of the Grizzlies, like other teams' interests. So I don't know. I don't feel like teams would want Conchar, but it's a weird situation to be in.
Yeah, I talk about like the 1 year that I followed high school basketball really well, and it was like that senior year of Josh Christopher, and he was like him and Jalen Green were like they were like the stars of this Vegas elite AAU basketball team. If you're ever bored, their highlights go so hard. So like I'm a little bit familiar with Josh Christopher. 1 year at Arizona State, I believe, and then he's been in Houston with his buddy Jalen Green. I've just like, even when he was in high school, I was just like, I feel like he's just a little bit undersized enough to be like super effective at the position he plays. But I mean, I don't know. I could definitely be proven wrong, but I mean, he could, end up being kind of like a Grayson Allen type player where he just really gets in our system and has a very solid role for us. I mean, Grayson Allen was an elite shooter for us for a long time, a decent amount of time. And I don't know, not to say Josh Christopher could be Grayson Allen, but I don't know. Who's to say? Especially with like our development team that we've got, nothing's really out of the question.
Didn't we sign the guy too? Did y'all see that?
Who?
We signed the Heat's development.
Oh yeah.
That was big. I like that a lot.
Me too.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like they said, he was responsible for Vincent and
Struce.
Mother undrafted. Struce, was it?
Struce.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, it's probably like Grizzlies and Heat. It's probably like the Grizzlies and Heat, right? That are like part of their identities is developing talent. So, and probably the Heat definitely more so, like especially after their finals run, the Heat are definitely more known for that than the Grizzlies. So,
And Darko was like so beloved by Grizzlies players that it was like very important to get someone to replace.
So that's the roster update, Bane extension, Summer League, veteran leadership. Anything else that you guys wanted to add? I know we haven't been talking super long. I feel like we kind of got everything we want to talk about.
Yeah. I'm just thinking like if the playoffs started today and Ja would be on the team, I guess what would be the like 9-man rotation? Like what would you guys think? Because we're not playing 10 guys, probably not, right? Like
9 or 8.
8 or
So
9.
it'd be Ja, Bane, Jaren, Smart, Steve-O, Roddy,
Kennard.
Yeah, Kennard,
Tillman,
BC. I could see Tillman not getting minutes.
What about Aldama?
He was in there, wasn't he? Or no?
I think Tillman and Aldama are kind of like situation based, like game to game almost. They're not really staples. There's like versions where they could have useful roles, but
I would put Aldama in mine. I think Aldama deserves.
okay.
And I would take Roddy out, and I would say like one of Roddy, the rest of those rookies, Williams, and anybody else who's young and who like proves themselves could like earn that last like wing spot.
It's just like on paper that like is really good. It's just like we never go to the playoffs with that rotation. We're always hurt.
Yeah.
Like I just want to see us make a playoff run with that rotation available. Like because that starting 5 is really good. And I feel like the first couple of guys off the bench is really good and can compete with whoever the other teams are bringing off the bench. I just wish we could like be healthy for once. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll really just have to wait another couple months and see what this Grizzlies roster can really do on the court. Have to wait even longer to see what we're at full strength. Obviously, Ja serving the suspension, Brandon being injured, probably not back until I think Christmas time is what Kleiman said. But you know, we can remain optimistic, and hopefully the Grizzlies can just get healthy. And there's always optimism with an All NBA player and a Defensive Player of the Year, and now another max contract player like Bane. There's always optimism that we can make a deep playoff run. So we'll just have to wait and see.
2 Defensive Players of the Year.
2 Defensive Players of the Year, right? Marcus Smart now on the team, so.
And we have Luke Kennard.
And Luke Kennard, who's the GOAT.
Kennard's gonna have a huge season.
Dude, I saw someone wrote like an article, like an actual like official article on why they think Luke Kennard's going to be this year's 6th man of the year.
Really?
Yeah, and it wasn't even like a Grizzlies guy, I don't think. I think you had to subscribe, so I couldn't read it, but
Oh.
I'm gonna look again for it. But
You'll ever do the thing when like the Daily Memphian or the Commercial Appeal puts out an article and they try to get you subscribed, so you take your thumb and you scroll all the way, try to get the article.
Oh, I see it, Eric. Bluff City Media. How Luke Kennard and will be 6th man of the year.
It's not a Grizzlies fan. Bluff City Media.
Well, I didn't see Bluff City Media. I saw like a guy I didn't know in like his Twitter. So it is Grizzlies, but
yeah,
I'm surprised I didn't write that article already.
Surprised you didn't write it for MVP.
Yeah. Luke Kennard was present at Summer League, and he looked like he was even better shooter than last time we saw him. He looked ready to go.
How could you tell?
I could just tell. His arms looked ready.
Yeah, that's good.
Cool. Well, anything left? Were you missing anything else?
I'm missing basketball. Like,
yeah.
We're just waiting until training camp now, basically,
Yeah.
or any other trade news that goes on, whether it's the Grizzlies or something else. But
Lillard.
that whole thing is just crazy.
Lillard might get dealt soon.
Lillard's like holding the Blazers hostage, like won't let them trade him anywhere else other than Miami. But Miami's like doesn't want to ruin Heat culture and only will give up Tyler Hero, so they're just at a dead standstill.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, Grizzlies basketball is still what, 4 months away. Start playing in like what, October? So got a while, but it'll come before we know it, and we'll be back to watching the Grizzlies every other night, and hopefully cheering on a bunch of wins.
Yeah.
So
only other thing I saw before we go, I saw that they put the Grizzlies like win total at 45.5. I think that's ridiculous.
We can get.
They do this every year, bro. It's every year now. It's every year.
Have we been over?
I mean, hey,
Jenkins came.
We do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we've been over that, like with injuries, like with like traumatic things happening to our team the last 2 years. We had 50 plus wins in about 2 straight years. Like, come on.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to bet on the Grizz. I don't know.
I'm sure we'll come close to cracking more than 45 wins, but
yeah, I have no doubt.
All right. Well, I think that's been everything. Shorter Axe Cast for y'all today. This has been the Axe Cast. My name is Caleb Cohn. With signing off for now with my co-hosts Eric and Luke. We'll see y'all next time.